Welcome back to the Nourish with Regina podcast, where we talk about transforming your plate and transforming your life. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Regina, a certified nutrition coach, wife, mom of 4 adult children, and someone who is deeply passionate about helping people understand that nutrition is not just about weight loss. It's about energy, hormones, inflammation, and how you actually feel in your body every single day. Today's episode is a really important one because I want to talk to the person who feels like I'm trying so hard, but nothing's working. You're making changes, you're putting in the effort, you really care and want to be better, but you feel stuck. Maybe you feel like your body isn't responding, the scale isn't moving, your energy is off, your cravings are still there, your inflammation isn't improving. And at some point, it starts to feel like maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe you've even thought, my body is broken. Nothing works for me. I guess this is just how it is. And I can really relate to this because for a lot of years, I was in that same exact position. So if that sounds like you, I want you to stay with me this episode because what I hope you walk away with today is this. You are not broken. You have just been given the wrong framework. So, a little bit about my story. I want to begin with something very personal because I know this feels personal to me. And I just want to share that for you. And for years, and I mean years, I truly believed I was doing everything right. I was working out. I had a personal trainer. I went to doctors. I tried diet after diet after diet. If it existed, I probably tried it. And not halfway. I went all in. My poor children can attest to that. Counting, tracking, measuring, obsessing. Everything revolved around calories, very little involved nourishment. And I was stressed. I was thinking about food all the time. I would venture to guess there wasn't an hour that went by during the day that I wasn't thinking about what I had already eaten, what I was going to eat next, and how many calories that had, and um, thinking about what I could eat and what I couldn't eat and what I shouldn't eat, uh, what I ruined by eating something I wasn't supposed to, what I needed to make up for, um, what I needed to work extra for. I even did a liver cleanse once, very restrictive, took a horrible powder every day, followed a restrictive diet to the T, and I gained 5 pounds. And I remember thinking, oh, what is wrong with me? And eventually that frustration became something deeper. I really started to believe that my body was broken. And maybe you felt that way too. But the good news is it's not, and we can work to help it do what it needs to do. So let's talk about one of the most repeated phrases in wellness culture. It's just calories in versus calories out. I mean, I heard that my entire life growing up. If you eat less and expend more calories, then you'll lose weight, no problem. Now, to be fair, energy balance does matter. Like, we can't eat 10,000 calories a day and expect good things to happen. But if we consistently eat more energy than we use, your weight will increase. So if we consistently eat less than we use, weight can decrease, but that's not the only factor. What is missing is this. Your body's not a calculator. It's a living, adaptive, intelligent system. And your body is responding to a lot of things. It's responding to your hormones, stress, your sleep quality, inflammation, blood sugar regulation, gut health, muscle mass, movement, um, your nutrient status, inflammation. I think I might have already said that, but there's a lot going on inside of our bodies every single day. So to reduce it clearly down to just calories in, calories out, we're missing a huge part of the picture. So while calories matter, the biological response to those calories matter too. So two meals can have the same calories and create very different outcomes. So for example, a 500 calorie fast food meal, low in protein, low in fiber, may digest quickly, spike your blood sugar, leave you hungry again sooner, and increase your cravings for later. But if you have a 500 calorie meal with protein, fiber, healthy fats, and whole complex carbohydrates, it's going to digest slower. It's going to support your fullness hormones. It's going to stabilize your blood sugar, fuel your energy better, and reduce overeating later on in the day. So that is why what you eat and how you eat often matter more than the numbers alone. So there is changes we can make, and there's hope if you feel stuck and the calories in, calorie out thing isn't working for you. On top of all that, then we add real life, poor sleep, high stress, chronic dieting, loss of muscle, perimenopause, aging, sedentary lifestyle, under eating, then binging. So now that simple math becomes so much more complex. So if that formula is not working for you, it's not because you failed or you are broken. It's that formula is incomplete. So the the gaps in that keep keep you stuck basically. Most people who feel stuck are not doing nothing. They're often trying very hard while missing a few key pieces. So let's talk about those. So these we're going to call them gaps. So gap number one we're going to talk about is not getting enough protein. So maybe for a typical person, their breakfast is toast and coffee. Lunch is a salad with a minuscule amount of chicken, the kind you pick up in the deli section at the grocery store. Dinner is really the only real meal they might get. So then the hunger hits and the cravings rise and snacking increases. Your muscles undersupported. Fat loss becomes harder because your body doesn't have the nutrients it needs to burn and to function properly. So protein helps increase fullness by stimulating satiation, hormones, and completing and slowing down your gastric emptying. So the food's going to digest slower, making you feel fuller longer, basically. So you feel satisfied longer, and the urge to snack isn't as powerful because you already feel kind of full. So a simple shift for this would be to start with 25 to 30 grams of protein at breakfast. So eggs and Greek yogurt, protein smoothie, a cottage cheese bowl, which if you've been following me any amount of time, is one of my very favorite breakfasts. Leftover chicken wrap. Like we don't have to relegate certain foods to breakfast, lunch, and dinner either. If you want a chicken wrap for breakfast, eat a chicken wrap for breakfast. Just hit that protein goal. So gap number two we're going to talk about is the blood sugar chaos. So skipping meals, running on caffeine only, eating mostly carbs, constant grazing throughout the day. What this does is it can create energy crashes, irritability, afternoon cravings, and late night overeating, brain fog, just a whole list of not great things. So a simple shift is you're going to pair carbohydrates with protein and healthy fat. So apples and peanut butter, great, great option there. Rice and chicken, berries and Greek yogurt, toast and eggs. Balanced blood sugar often feels like calmer energy and fewer cravings. So the third gap we are going to address is chronic stress. And in this day and age, I feel like everyone I know has some kind of chronic stress going on. It's just, we kind of ignore it now because it's so much a part of our regular everyday life. But stress is not just emotional, it's biochemical too. So When cortisol stays elevated, remember cortisol is our stress hormone, it can affect our sleep, our appetite, our fat storage, our blood sugar, our recovery time, inflammation in our body. So, most people are trying to heal in a body that never feels safe enough to rest. We get into that fight or flight response, and we have consistent elevated levels of cortisol. And our body needs to know that we're not always in that fight or flight response. It needs to feel safe, it needs to feel supported, and it needs to feel like it can rest and take a break. So, a simple shift for this, take a walk after dinner, take 5 slow breaths, pray, write in a journal, create boundaries for yourself, learn to say no, don't overextend yourself. Turn your phone off at a certain time every night. So, and just let people know that's I'm done with my phone at this time of the day. So leave a message and I will call you tomorrow. It's okay to do that. You don't have to be accessible to everyone 24/7. Gap number 4, under eating by day, overeating at night. And I know this is something we're probably all guilty of at some point in our life, but I see it a lot in my clients. So it's so common. You're good. I'm going to put that in air quotes here. You're good all day, starving by evening. Then you feel out of control and you feel like you're so hungry you can't stand it and you start the snacking. This is often not a lack of discipline. Ew, excuse me. Pardon me. I'm sorry. Um, it's not a lack of discipline always. It's compensation. Your body is trying to catch up. So you've basically not been nourishing it all day, and our bodies talk to us. They tell us what they need. We just have to learn to listen better. So at night, and your body's like, well, I want cereal, or I want ice cream, or I want popcorn, or those are all cues that you haven't given your body the complex carbohydrates or the fiber or the fat or the protein that it's needed throughout the day. And normally these choices we make at night, when we're doing the snacking, are not necessarily always our best choices. They're quick and easy choices, which I'm not saying healthy can't be quick and easy, but we just really have to be mindful and make changes throughout the day so that we don't get to that point during the evening. All right, low muscle mass we're going to talk about. That's gap number 5. This one is overlooked constantly. So, muscle mass is important because it doesn't just make our clothes look nicer on us, but it also affects our metabolism, our glucose disposal, our strength, our mobility, healthy aging. The less muscle we maintain, the harder many things become, which is why strength training and protein matter. And just for 1 minute, I want to address the ladies who are in their midlife area. Weight bearing exercise and weight training are so important. Women lose muscle mass at a much higher rate as they age than men do. And so, if you want to age and still be able to do things and walk and bicycle and hike and all of those things, again, I'm sorry, start a weightlifting routine. I'm not saying you have to go out and try and build muscles, huge muscles, or, join a bodybuilding competition. But regular weight training is going to help you so much. And I know, we were pushed cardio a lot, especially as women, because we didn't want to bulk up. We didn't want to become too masculine looking. I'm telling you, ladies, neither of those things are going to happen. You're going to be stronger. You're going to be healthier. You're going to be able to burn fat better if you have better, higher muscle mass. So now I want to talk a little bit about diet culture and the damage it has done. And I want to speak honestly here. Diet culture has harmed us. Real people, real lives. It has taught us that smaller equals better, hunger equals success, and that our food must be earned. That rest is laziness, your value is invisible, and the scale determines your worth. And I want to be clear, that is absolutely none of that is true. That is all lies. That messaging has disconnected so many people from their own bodies and from health and nourishment. It really does make me sad. People stopped trusting hunger. They stopped recognizing fullness. They feared carbs, feared fat, feared enjoying food. Um, it's kept people from enjoying their vacations and putting on the bikinis, avoiding photos, skipping celebrations, spending decades hating themselves. And I want you to hear me when I say this. This is not small damage. This is life damage. And many people are grieving years that they can't get back, that they've been hiding, that they've been disgusted with themselves unnecessarily. But I want you to know that healing can begin, and it can begin today. And you are not too late. And you deserve it. You are worth it. Um, we really should celebrate the bodies we have because they have supported us through so many hard times and joyous times and life changes and moves and children and different stages of life. Like our bodies are incredible. God has created them in such a way that if you really, and this, I get so excited about this because if you look at how our bodies work and you look at how food works with our bodies and different herbs and things. Like it amazes me every single day that I get to talk about this, that I get to learn about this, that I get to dive deeper into this, at how it's such an interwoven system. And God created that all for us. And I just think He loves us that much that He has given us all of this. We should love ourselves too. So let me say this clearly. Your body is not the enemy. Your body is not the enemy. It has been adapting, protecting, responding, trying to keep you alive, maybe imperfectly, but intelligently. So, from a faith perspective, this body is a gift, a temple, something God has entrusted to you, not to punish it, not to worship, but to steward. And stewardship can look like feeding it well, strengthening it, resting it when needed, listening to it, honoring our limits, and receiving healing. You don't need to hate yourself into being healthy. And honestly, I have never seen that work. Um, but you can love yourself into better care. I'm going to repeat that in case you want to write it down. You do not need to hate yourself into health. You can love yourself into better care. So now let's talk about something we all do, and that's comparison. So comparison keeps many people stuck. We compare ourselves to edited photos, to filters online, to unrealistic expectations. And, a lot of this is AI created or like I said, with the filters on social media, highlight reels. Sometimes we compare ourselves to our younger selves. You are not meant to be 17 again. You are meant to become fully who you are now. You are in a body that has lived, worked, served, grieved, loved, carried stress, grown wiser. And that deserves respect and not resentment. So, what now? We shift from punishment to support. So, first, we're going to nourish first. Before asking what to cut, we're going to ask what to add. So I want you to think about your eating habits and actually I have all my clients even before our first meeting, track for 2 weeks everything they eat and keep a food log. And I know some people hate that, but this is a really, really good way to see what and how we're nourishing our body with. Um, and it gives a good visual because we can think we're doing really good, but then when you look at it at a big picture, you're like, oh, I have this huge gap there. So um, I would suggest you take time each day or just keep a little notebook, or you can do it on the notes on your phone and just write down what you're eating for breakfast, lunch, snacks, dinner, anything you put into your mouth, write it down for 2 weeks straight. So things a lot of people need to add, and I want you to think about if you're keeping this journal, is protein, fiber, hydration. Are you drinking your water? I know that is one of the hardest things for me personally. I'm not a big fan of drinking water. I have to make a conscious effort to do it. um, Colorful produce. Like we're getting into spring, summertime, and I'm so excited. In a few weeks, there'll be an episode about eating with the season, summer edition. But I am so excited about the farmers market again and just seeing all the beautiful, colorful produce that we're going to have available to us. Minerals, whole foods. So your body often needs more support than it needs more restriction. And the second thing I want you to think about when you're looking at your 2 weeks food journal is blood sugar stabilization. Are you eating regular meals? Are you building balanced plates? Reduce the chaos. You might, if it works for you to plan and to food prep and do that, great. If it works for you to eat the same thing every day for lunch or breakfast, great. You can plan ahead easily for that. This just stabilizing your blood sugar alone can improve cravings, mood, and energy levels. So the third thing to think about is building strength. Are you moving your body? Do you have a routine of weightlifting or walking or using resistance bands? Um, are you making a concerted effort to move consistently? Strength changes your metabolism. It changes your confidence, it changes your posture, and it improves aging, which I know is something everybody's looking for right now. And it doesn't take a ton of creams or injections or anything to do that. It just add some movement, some training, some exercise to your days. Um, the next thing I want you to think about is reducing noise. Stop comparing yourself to others or to yourself. Um, don't run to the internet for advice every time you have a question. Talk to real people. Listen to your body. Use your intuition sometimes. Try and live a life of less drama, less diet drama, less emotional drama. I know sometimes that's really hard to do. But like I said before, set some boundaries for yourself. You are worth it. You deserve it. And it's okay that you do that. Um, just try and create a space for your body where it feels safe and nourished. More peace, more wisdom, more consistency. So if you feel stuck right now, I want you to do these things this week. Eat protein at breakfast every day. We're just going to start there. You don't have to do it at every meal, but let's shoot for breakfast. Walk 10 minutes after one meal a day. For most people, it works at dinner time. If you have a longer lunch break, you can do that on your lunch break. Just add a 10-minute walk. Strength train twice. Just this week, just twice. Do some push-ups, do some squats. You don't have to have hand weights or anything. There's a lot if you want to look on YouTube or Pinterest. There's a lot of just, no weight workouts that are, like body weight kind of things. Um, Make it a goal to drink more water. If you're only drinking 2 glasses of water a day, maybe up it to 3 this week. Like I said, we don't have to be all in 100%. We're going to start small. Go to bed 30 minutes earlier. Americans are grossly underrested. So, I was reading the other day, if you want to sleep for 9 hours, you need to be in bed for 10 hours. The average person takes about 30 minutes to fall asleep. And if you're like me and you like to hit that snooze button, set your alarm maybe 30 minutes before you actually need to be feet on the floor. But create a bedtime routine. Start with one step, like, shutting your phone off at a certain time every night, or, you know, listening to calming music before bed, or reading a book, just something. Pick one thing to add to help you start building a bedtime routine. Uh, Unfollow someone or something that makes you feel worse. And this is kind of a big one, but we constantly subject ourselves to things that make us anxious, that make us aggravated or upset. We can quiet the noise, and that's okay. We don't need to know everything about everything that's going on in the news every day. We'll be fine if we don't know a few things. So these are all simple actions that repeated often that can cause immense transformation. So in closing, I want to say you are not broken. You were just working from an incomplete framework and understanding. But now you have a better path, one rooted in truth, science, grace, stewardship, one that supports your body instead of fighting it, one that creates consistency instead of burnout, and one that gives you relief, clarity, nourishment, and hope again. So if this episode resonated with you, I would love for you to share it with someone who needs to hear it. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. And if you haven't already, please leave a review. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Nourish with Regina. And if you're ready to take this deeper, you can learn more about all my coaching options at www.nourishwithregina.com. Next week's episode is one you are not going to want to miss. The title is The Protein Problem and Why You're Probably Not Eating Enough. We're going to talk about how protein affects your metabolism, why it affects cravings, how much protein you actually need, and how to realistically get enough in real life. I also want to let you know I am starting my Get Ready for Summer group coaching program. It's a 4-week program. It's totally virtual. It's $99 for the 4 weeks. That does start May 11th. So if you're interested in that, you can find out more information on my website. I want to thank you for being here today, really. And until next time, keep nourishing your body one simple choice at a time.